buying silver at 22 in February, March this year, and silver miners 400-500% down from where they are. In case, for example, of Pantera, was definitely a smart move. Just last week alone, I think I've done more gains in my portfolio than most of portfolio managers would realize over the course of 1 year. And last year itself would probably give me a decade of a great growth. So, with all that said, several questions arise. What's gonna happen from here? Is it still late? Shall I buy right now? And, of course, the most important, if the world of macro is favoring any of those move from now onwards, and what should people who cannot have the stock exposure do? With that said, let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Russ, and today's video, of course, we're gonna dedicate a few minutes to silver because it's just super important to realize where we are and what kind of multi-generational opportunities arising from here. On the other hand, we're gonna look also in the major indices, including Forex and S&P 500. With the crypto Bulltards here adopting this narrative, it's not a surprise that silver for sure would get much more recognition from now onwards. Yeah, such an obvious play for you, bro. Where you've been at 22, I also wonder. And as I said, some of the plays we've been taking on in February, March are up right now 400%, and that's, you know, still the room to go. I believe Pantera, for example, would definitely be one of those not penny stocks anymore. So in the $1 territory, $1 Canadian, that's possible for 10 bagger, 20 bagger from here. I actually expect much of my good picks to become the 10 baggers in the future when silver would do what the crypto Twitter is telling us it should do. Obviously, don't read that, don't listen to that. There's the people that are not really understanding what they're talking about, but in that case, they are kind of right. Just being a bulltard sometimes pays off, and most of the time it vanishes you, but 1 out of 10, maybe it works. Well, now, coming to a little bit more reasonable and sustainable charts. Let's have a look at DXY. Like DXY here, it actually quite interesting. It kind of does what I've been predicting on last Friday. Nothing has changed. I said that dollar is overstretched to the downside, and simply looking at other pairings, mainly Euro USD, I start seeing that momentum here is declining. I start seeing that the stochastic RSI is curling down, as you can see here, and we are still not able to break through those important resistance, so it can be something that I've been indicating, this information forming, guys. Everything plays exactly as I've been predicting. I have the silver presentation from 3 years ago. Every out of 12 hypotheses I made there is playing out exactly as I've been predicting. So, of course, it's cool to be right on the weekly time frame, but it's also much cooler to be right on the multi-yearly time frame, especially when you're first in the game and you're going to be selling your bags to a bunch of people who are going to wake up to those calls. So coming back to DXY, decline here, I expect that's probably a similar picture for the British pound. British pound is printing now 6 divergences, slightly front-running my level of 135. Stochastic is curling down. Also, as you can see, RSI, which one of the most important divergence for me is always RSI, and on top of that OBV. OBV is not yet divergent on balance volume, but once we start selling off from here and break below this line, I believe OBV would also correct, and I would expect a certain move, something like that. Once again, it's just a probability. Nothing in a world of trading is for granted, so take everything with a grain of salt, be humble. But those two major pairings with the dollar correcting, and probably let's have a look real time Australian versus Japanese yen. I mean, Aussie still looks quite good. We still have to, confirm the acceptance above this W pattern. So might meet some struggle here, considering also the momentum is declining. All in all, I will be careful in longs today. Tomorrow on Friday, I'll try to be live again and we will reevaluate. That means if you're late into the game and you were not on time, that's okay. You will be given a better moment to re-enter. It might be also coinciding with a little bit of a profit taking in gold. We reached my zone A, so can be some profit taking from here. Of course, cartel will try to suppress gold. I don't think that's really doable, but just as a hedge, I've been entering a small gold short just a few minutes ago, and I would definitely prefer to hedge with gold rather than with silver, because as you know, we lost that range right now, and I think the path for everyone who watches me, it's not a surprise. For new people here, you know where gold to silver will be heading, 48.52 at least. That's why I don't want to short silver. I'd rather hedge with a gold short. However, don't be too greedy. As I keep reminding you, silver junior minor ETF versus silver is about to break through that consolidation zone, and once it's done, you will be late for majority of producer stocks. You would not be able to catch them. They will do the same thing as Pantera is doing. Are you able to catch 400% run? No, you would not, because we're gonna see those candles 15%, 20%, 30%, sometimes 40% candle in one day, all around. Are you able to beat those? No, you aren't. So be humble, and once I said, try not to maximize every $1,000 unrealized profit in your account, because silver can correct, but those money would start flowing into the junior miners. Once we break this line, I think it's something that I drew in here. That's kind of evident what the next move will be. And, having those kind of moves in silver junior ETF, something that I don't like. I don't want to be exposed to that stuff. Too many bad players in there, but that's kind of giving the atmosphere for the entire move, so you can sense what's going to happen from there. I think acceptance above the range, maybe a small retest around 13.1, and out we go. You have to look at this chart. It looks so beautiful. I honestly can't not communicate it. Look at this volume, guys. Look at this volume yesterday. There is 20-30x normal daily volume, and we are breaking out of that multi-month consolidation on Minarum Gold at 26.25 cents, 26.5 cents. I think realistically, with those gold prices we're gonna have, it's quite okay for Minarum to still move another 200% from here, at least, considering the fact that I already did around 130% from the lows around the time, just a bit before the time I joined the channel, but that's pretty much when I started building my position on that accumulation zone. That's quite an interesting pattern, the diamond pattern. That's how you can see that the hypothesis around forming the bottom can be formed. One more player I can give you that, despite a crazy move in silver, didn't do much yet. It's Kutni. For those watching me, you know how I am positive on Kutni. I think that right now Kutni gave us a very nice ability to re-enter here around 120. And I see the target for Kutni at least in the area of 250% from here. So that's around $4. I'm not gonna go right now in all the mining information. We don't have time for those. If you want to rewatch my early videos from April around silver and the thesis why those miners I am bidding heavily, then getting back into traditional stock market, S&P 500, is always super important to observe. Not a surprise here that we are staying in this overstretch, so-called overbought territory, but taking into account the fact that days are passing by and we are not selling off gives me a very bullish outlook. First of all, this 5 different divergences do not give us a profit taking, and on top of that, this overbought, I hate using that word, but you understand what I mean, that overbought here is getting burned, RSI is getting slow by slow burn, oscillators might reset, we're still gonna be here, and that means 3 taps to the high. One more parabolic move is able to happen once dollar gives us those DXY bounce, and after that bounce, if S&P 500 is not starting to sell off, you might enter, and you might enter not in S&P 500, you might play much more high risk reward plays. What are those? First of all, let's look at the earnings calendar. This week we didn't have anything interesting. You can just do the exercise yourself. You go on nasdaq.com and you see what earnings are, what companies are reporting today. For the earnings call today, Wednesday, 25th of September, obviously the headliner here, SMU, Micron, one of the company most of the people are sleeping on, and in my opinion, that company is a great indicator on where tech is gonna move. Tomorrow we have Costco, $400+ billion market cap. I am not really excited in doing anything with Costco. It's overstretched to the upside, but based on the currency debasement and inflation not combated, I can imagine them reporting quite good earnings. So they can just be boring melt up that I'm not interested to get exposed, and then nothing interesting. Carnival, yeah, cruise company, it's all good. This week is quite chill. When it comes to Micron, I think you're actually able to catch an amazing move from here. This is one of the plays I want to give to everyone, not only for Telegram subscribers. The reason for those is the correction that we had recently that gives us incredible 46% discount from the lows, or 40% plus discount from the price of today. I think Micron is gonna do something like that and then shoot up. And the reason for that is obviously fundamental. I'm bullish for today's earning. The stock technically is now over key medium term level of 90. I think next stop is likely somewhat around 200-day moving average of 105. There is a lot of upside already here, plus with the bullish Intel news. And for those who've been following me on Telegram, you know that we also scaled in Intel. I've been giving you the signal to accumulate Intel, so that's not a surprise for everyone asking what that group is about. I am providing here lots of detailed intraday updates. So we've been tracking the price of gold and silver on a very precise basis. Also crypto, also obviously always the room for laughter. I said people were laughing on YouTube comments on me buying Baba at 72. Now I do laugh. So for everyone who wants to join, I do that work completely for free, but it cannot be infinite amount of people. So as a little commitment, you need to be subscribed to Nick's newsletter update, which is less than $1 a day, I guess, something like $30 a month. I leave the link in a comment down below. And it's up to you if you want to join. Obviously, I'll try to give a couple of comments here on YouTube, but with the things moving like 10% a day, I honestly think even if you manage $3,000 portfolio, that will pay off. If you manage $50,000 portfolio, I think then you're making yourself a disservice of not having those in a timely manner. Coming back. Benefit for Micron earnings, I think, can be reflected in the chart, taking into account how stock is suppressed. On top of that, we've seen that with the stimulus coming from China, the Chinese plays do start moving. We had this explosion in BABA in around 10% a day. Obviously, You remember when I was buying at 72, people were laughing, as I said. Now, Baidu, I also remind you that I gave the bottom on this move at 81 or 82. We analyzed on top of that why. It is 16% yesterday from there in a matter of 10 days, or 11% based on pre-market from now. And the reason for that is simple. I said that Baidu can buy in its entire company right now, having 25 billion in cash, and with the market cap right now sitting at 31 billion. Which day is that? September 19th. That time here, September 19th, we were at around $86. So I was anticipating the mixture of technical and fundamental. So for people who worry that I'm giving too many signals, that I need to follow crypto or something, no, that's not the case. I do a lot of fundamental analysis too. I always like to see spot on the reversals to catch the bottom. If you would just look at Baidu chart, you would understand what an amazing potential we have from here, just to move as a mean reversion to our previous high. We are speaking here about 85% from here. That's an amazing, amazing, amazing move for a multi-billion-dollar company with the incredible fundamentals. So don't sleep on China, don't sleep on Micron, don't sleep obviously on silver junior miners. What else? Well, super important. Let's have a quick look here on the crypto mining companies. And I think here we are kind of starting to, grind up. I like Marathon here. I see that Valkyria minor ETF. Someone in the comments were asking me, what's that Bulgarian ETF I recommended? It's not Bulgarian, guys. It's Valkyria, which is the ETF provider that has multiple ETFs around crypto, merging crypto and TradFi. So Valkyria is exposed to the basket of miners. I personally would really like to play the catch up here on Riot, Mara, and CleanSpark. That will be my three choices. Going from here might be a tiny bit of consolidation, but just coming back to the levels we've been during this summer already gives us a nice 70% move. Miners move quite quickly. If you are bullish on Bitcoin, I think that's where you need to be positioned. That's where you need to have an exposure. Marathon Digital Holding, same. If I just zoom out a tiny bit, we're seeing the levels of 26, coinciding with my yellow lines here. We're speaking here about 66% move from the current level. I think that's a great move that can actually happen. If you see how quickly Bitcoin miners can move, you would see the 3 days gave us last time 40% move, but we were at a higher level. We were at 19. So considering that the base is lower right now, we can definitely have 50% move within the 3-day time. Once again, I repeat it for everyone, 50% move within the 3-day time. If you're not exposed, if you're sleeping on those opportunities because you are not aware or you forgot, then I'm here to remind you. I know most of you also want some crypto exposure, but let's keep it for the next time so we keep the sessions a little bit shorter. Also, guys, I really have to ask you, if you watch makes it, useful for you, the content I'm sharing. Trust me, I'm working 12, 14 hours a day and I still wake up every morning to share my moves with you. So please like, share with your friend. There's not so many people on YouTube who've giving you those narratives so early, and yet, which is really sad for me, I see that we have a lot of views for the breakout traders, for Bulltards, for people who are drawing triangles on the chart and all of that nonsense. So yeah, we'll appreciate your support. Much love, and I see you soon. Bye.